99.1 FM CKXS Saturday morning back, and that means the All About Real Estate show is ready to roll. Pete Allaer is in with us, as always, on our Saturdays. Good morning to you, Pete.
Good morning, Greg.
Thanks for joining us today here. And let me start off by saying thanks again for helping support our Fairfield Park initiative, our community gathering that we're doing of food for the staff there. You jumped on board. Actually, I think you were one of the first that jumped on board for support in that and helping to feed the staff lunch and dinner every Tuesday and Thursday.
Well, thanking me is probably not the thing to do, because really we should be thanking you for thinking about doing something like this. And I mean, I've said it before, this radio station's been awesome for our town. It's brought us together. It's just something that, I'm proud, or I'm pleased to be a part of it. I mean, any little part we can help to keep our community together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's really not about the food is what I'm hearing from all the staff there. It's just that they know the community is behind them, right? That they've got our support. We recognize the difficult task that's ahead of them each and every day. I mean, it's not like it's okay, that's done.
Right.
They finish their day and then they go back to it again the next day.
Yeah, it all comes down to letting the community know that, these kind of things happen, and the rest of the community is here for you. And I mean, that's not the only thing that this past week, there's other initiatives that you've been involved in, and it's sort of the same line, right? It's community helping community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we need to step up. We need to take care of one another. We need to be, that's what local is all about, right? We take care of one another. We're from the same community, and it's really the nice part about living in a small town, in a small community where we all know someone who works at Fairfield. We all know someone who's a resident at Fairfield. That's what a small town is like, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and that sort of, runs right into the fact of helping and supporting and staying local, so all of that, it just shows how when we support local, the money doesn't leave, it stays here, and then it gets funneled back into all of these other great initiatives. And if it wasn't for everyone sort of, and even someone, I've often said, someone just buying groceries at the local grocery store. The owners live locally. So, you spend your $100 on groceries, and then that money, part of that money funnels back, right? Has local jobs, and it all funnels back, right? So it's one big circle, which obviously lately that's proven to be so important that we try to stay local, support local, and try to keep as much of our money internally as we can, right?
It's probably been the best lesson we've all learned, that Amazon doesn't sponsor any local teams in town, right? It's all those other local businesses that have been affected by the Amazons. And, not to take away from, there are major companies out there that are attached to local. Like I'm thinking of some of our franchisees, right? So don't paint one brush with all of them, because like a Canadian Tire, for a matter of fact, that locally owned, but a national company. Yeah. That's a different story. Whereas, there is other companies that are, the money leaves town and disappears. And
exactly. Local. A good example is Canadian Tire, right? So, let's just say you want to buy a stepladder, and you go into either Home Hardware or Canadian Tire locally, or Rona, and you walk in there and you buy it and you leave. Well, versus, going on Amazon and getting delivered to your door. Bottom line is, you're sure it's a Rona, it's their franchise. However, there's local people working there, and there's local owners. And again, when the sports team shows up to the Home Hardware and says, hey, can you sponsor a little tyke team?
Or do a car wash.
Yeah, guess what? They're there, right? And I get it. I understand why people, in today's day and age, why they go on like the Amazons or whatever. But bottom line is, if you can do it, try to support local. And it goes down, obviously, for our business, for real estate. I really promote people using local realtors. Same kind of thing. You sell your house through a local realtor. that money stays within the community. You use a local realtor to buy a house. And to me, that stretches more into the experience and these realtors knowing,
Right.
the community and knowing the neighborhoods and having history of the area, which we get lots of out of town realtors coming in. And that's the one thing I always say with out of town realtors. I mean, I understand it, but they come in, they sell a house, they take half the money and they leave, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, there's half of that money that was paid out in commissions that is gone,
right.
Versus if it's internally local people that are doing this work.
They're going to buy their groceries here. They'll buy their car here. They're going to buy their clothes here. They're
Exactly.
going to shop here. I mean, that money just filters back through the economy, right?
Yeah. So I think, this past week or even, since the beginning of 2021, I've been thinking a lot of this, how we have been sticking together as a community, what we're trying to do as a community, I mean, it's interesting because so many people that have moved into our community from somewhere else, I meet lots of them selling them homes. I would say 90% of them, 2 years, 3 years, whatever in, I see them and I'll just say to them, oh, how's things going? And so many of them are like, they can't believe they love it here. They can't believe how great it is here. They can't believe how friendly everyone is, which I think, as a person that grew up here, you can't see the forest for the trees.
Very
so
true.
you kind of forget about that. Right. But so many of them are like, like the one lady said she moved, I sold her house on Elgin Street and she said to me, oh, I'm worried about the snow. How do I get rid of the snow? And so I gave her a couple numbers. Next thing she calls me, her neighbor, as soon as it snows, the neighbor from across the street comes across, blows the snow out of her driveway.
That's awesome.
Right? It's like, and she comes from the city and she said that would never happen in the city. Like she said, I didn't even know who my neighbors were, like let alone them coming and shoveling my driveway. Yeah. Right. So this is all part of, I think we as a community have to realize, let's look at the good things about it. Let's not pick apart all the bad stuff. Let's look at how we're all helping each other. Let's look at how friendly we are. Holding the door open at Tim Hortons for someone to go in ahead of you. You wouldn't believe like something that simple, especially if it's an out-of-town person doing that. When that happens, that out-of-town person is blown away. Yeah. I've heard the story. They're blown away. They're like, somebody held the door open for me to go into Tim Hortons. Like they can't believe it, right?
Or, the same thing when you're in a line. You just don't know where they're from. And that impact that you have on people outside the community by being kind, by saying, hi, or I guess in a line now we're 6 feet away, but I mean, we're letting them, go ahead of you. Oh, you only got 3 items. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And, they leave, go back to another community and talk about, wow, I was just in this little community called Dresden, Wallsburg, Port Lambton, wherever. And what a great little community. I like it.
Yeah.
And those things
those
come
are
back.
little things, right?
But, I mean, they pay huge dividends, and who knows, maybe bring somebody to our community. Maybe they start a business here. You never know, right? Yeah, you never know who you're talking to on any given day. So,
and when you do these kind of things, I find that it's like it's great for the person you do it for, but a lot of times you end up getting more gratification out of it than they do,
no
right?
Because
you're happy you did that, and you're happy that you went out. Like the other day, I'm at No Frills, and there was a woman, like I put my card in and I grabbed my quarter out, and there's a woman like digging for a quarter, and she's like, I said, here you go, right? Here's a quarter. Like, whatever, right here. Yeah. And it wasn't whatever. It was just, and she looked at me like, it was like, you could just tell she was so relieved because she would have had to go back to her car, and she had 2 little kids, and it was blah, and I just was like, here's a quarter, shove it, like, see, and she was so happy about that. And it's funny because something that simple, I'm walking back to my truck and it just makes you feel good that you think, oh, you know what? I probably just made a part of that person's day for 25 cents. Yep. Like, what I mean?
It really is
little stuff.
Things,
and
man.
Again, it comes down to local, small town, be nice to people, be supportive of business, of people, of, don't right away jump all over people, like let's try to be a good, fun, nice community to be in, right? And I think we are. I mean, from the outside looking in, we are. I hear it all the time.
Yeah,
So
agreed.
just to reiterate that with people in Wallaceburg, we are nice people here. People tell us that, me all the time, right? So look at the good side of things, I think, is one of the messages.
Solid message. And back to the point of all of that, be local. And if you can spend your money local, the more you spend local, the more it helps our economy and the more it helps all our businesses, including real estate.
Yeah,
So,
doesn't matter what local business we're talking
yeah,
about, right?
any local.
It's
Good idea.
That's definitely the message is like you say, local.
If you're driving on the 401 right now and you're not from the area, but would like to be from the area, well, guess what? Your timing is impeccable because Riverside Realty's here. Pete Allaer's got a listing that you could move into this week, right?
Absolutely. We do have one, a great spot in Port Lambton, actually, which is, again, another great little community. 4412 Hill Street in Port Lambton, a one floor with a full basement. So we have that listing, and we're hopefully getting a couple more coming next week. They're still in the works, and if you're thinking of selling your house, again, I said it I think last week, don't worry about the cold weather and the snow, which normally we'd say wait till it's nicer.
Right.
No better time than now. We have lots of buyers and we have no inventory. So if you're a person contemplating selling, it's a great time. Just reach out to us and we can walk you through every step of the way and help you get the most money possible for your house, bottom line. So,
okay, weather's hot. Sorry, the weather's cold. The market's hot.
Exactly.
That's
yes.
probably the best
Market's
way to...
opposite to the weather. Yeah.
All right, he's Pete Allaer from Riverside Realty. Once again, if they want to get a hold of any of your agents from Riverside Realty, best way either online or phone calls?
Yeah, probably go online. That's the best way, riverside.com, and you'll get all of our listings. You'll get all of our agents. You'll get all of their contact phone numbers. If you're contemplating or wondering, what's my house worth? What could I do? If you're thinking about it, you're never too early to do that. Just call and say, hey, can you come and have a quick look? Even a drive-by will help, and we'll definitely help you every step of the way.
Okay. All right. Now you've learned about your real estate or your questions there. We're going to help you with your lawyer and talk to Lindsay Anderson coming up again on the program as our All About Real Estate show continues on your Saturday here at 99.1 FM CKXS.